My. This is a strange sight. I wonder if I finally lost my mind after all this time. And here I thought the exercises were helping. Oh, what's the matter? You seem as confused as I am. Do you not even know how you got here? Because I certainly don't. A dream? How funny. But then, you don't seem to be here physically, so astral projection maybe? Perhaps it's true what they say, that dreams are windows to other worlds. But listen to me ramble. It's been so very long since I've talked to someone other than myself. Tell me, what is your name? What a strange name. I'm not sure I could even pronounce that. What was that first sound again? Odd. Come to think of it, given how long I've been here, my native language is probably dead. You must speak a completely different one. Strange that we understand each other in that case. Anyway, I'll just call you Dreamer. There's not much point in me giving you my name. I imagine you wouldn't have any more luck pronouncing mine. Most people knew me as the Cursed, anyway. No reaction to that. I'd assumed they'd still be telling stories about me. It might be for the best, though. I don't imagine stories about me would be particularly flattering. Well, I'm not interested in lying to the first person I've spoken to in millennia, so I'll be frank. I'm not a good person. In fact, I'm here because I am responsible for nearly wiping out humanity, intentionally. The details are something I'd like to save for another time, I think. Let it suffice to say that I am a being of great magic, and I judged all humanity to be worthy of extinction. It would take a lifetime to name every person that I've killed. Poor little Dreamer. If you weren't already asleep, I'd say you look like you could faint. Rest assured, you're in no danger. I'm all but powerless now, and you're not even really here. I underestimated your species' will to survive. Your ancestors sacrificed quite a lot to stop me. When I was within reach of my goal, they struck me with a potent spell. My magic was ripped from my very essence, and I was thrust out of reality, into this wasteland that lies in between everything. A being like me isn't capable of death, so I've been here ever since, wandering the waste. It has been nothing short of maddening. For what it's worth, I've mellowed out over the years. What I was doing, it seemed so important at the time. I thought it was my duty to the world, but with nothing to do here but think, my old way of thinking started to seem petty, backwards even. Certainly, I only have myself to blame for my situation. I can't fault your kind for defending themselves, so I can only think that it was immensely foolish of me to push you so far. If I could do it all over again, I think I'd have tried a more benevolent approach. Use my magic to make your lives better and win your adoration. It would have been easy to ask you to change your ways then. Of course, you're a fool if you take me at my word. I'd say anything if I thought it had the slightest chance of getting me out of here. It probably doesn't matter in the end. I'm not sure how you managed to get here, but I doubt there's any way you or I could take advantage of it. Though, perhaps, do you mind if I try to touch you? I want to confirm something. Oh, that blush. I think you pictured something just now, didn't you, Dreamer? How indecent. Oh, I kid. But it's gratifying to know that my form is still appealing. My captors tried to turn me into a hideous beast on top of everything else, just to make me more miserable. But I managed to keep control of that, at least. Now, could you lend me your hand? That's all I need. How intriguing. You're not really here, physically, but there is something. I feel a tingling sensation when I pass my hand through you. This isn't as simple as astral projection or a mere dream. You're quite the little enigma, dreamer. And perhaps a useful one, too. You might be able to help free me. It's a long shot, but it's still the best odds I've faced since I got here. Oh, no need for that worried little face. There's nothing you could do right now, even if you wanted to. You can decide whether you actually want to free me later. I realize how risky of an idea that is for you. Anyway, I suppose that's enough scheming for now. I'm not sure how long we have, so before we're interrupted, I'd like to hear a bit about you, dreamer. Why, of course. There's something about you, I think. It's hard to be certain. I haven't spoken to anyone in so long, after all, but you seem unusual for a human, even ignoring the fact that you can visit me at all. Well, for starters, what do you do with your time? I didn't understand most of those words. The world has clearly changed while I was away. I wish you could show me what you mean. I suddenly find myself wishing for a lot of things, in fact. I wish I could touch you, really touch you. I never held much interest for your kind, but right now I just want to run my hands through your hair, feel your body against mine. God, what I wouldn't give just to be close to someone again. Was that oversharing? Sorry. Finally, being able to talk to someone again has brought back a lot of feelings I'd buried away. It's funny how it's the thing I rarely had time for that I miss the most. If I do manage to return to the real world eventually, I think that's what I'd like to focus on instead. Just connecting with people. Starting with you, my little dreamer. A bribe? No, I wouldn't call it that. Just consider it incentive. And it's not like I'm lying. You really do intrigue me. Even if I never make it out of here, I do hope that you'll be able to visit again. Let me ask you something. If you could have one wish granted, what would it be? It could be almost anything. Really? My, how selfless. Or is this one of those, if the world gets better, I benefit sort of things? Well, never mind. Either way, I think I'll make that the first thing I do when I'm freed, assuming that I am. After I take advantage of being able to touch you, of course. Well, can you blame me? The more I think about the possibility of actually leaving, the more I want it to happen. Now I'm fantasizing about all sorts of things that I could do for the first time and forever. Quite a few of them involve you. You're still a fool, if you believe any of what I'm saying, of course. But the foolish choice isn't always the wrong one. Maybe you'll turn out to be exactly the kind of fool I needed. But before we go worrying about all that, I want to... What was that? I could swear that you were blurry for... There it is again. Dear, does this mean you're waking up? I wasn't finished with you yet. No time to lament over it. I need to do something quickly before you wake up. Give me your hand again. I have a theory, and if I'm right, it should help bring you back to me. Even though you're not really here, there is some kind of connection to your real self. I think that if I use what little power I have, I can... There. I've put some of myself into you. Now there should be a psychic link of sorts between us. You'll be able to see it when you wake up as a mark on your hand that only you can see. That way you'll know that it was all real. And best of all, when you go back to sleep again, I can use this to guide you back to me. I could not stand that if I couldn't see you again. I think this is it. Take care, little dreamer. I'll see you again soon. Hello again, little dreamer. I see you found your way back to me. Good. I was worried what would happen if we weren't able to meet again. Oh, it was far from certain. My psychic link I forged was created with what scant amount of power I could still muster, and I'm a millennia out of practice. Not to mention, I'm still not entirely sure how you reached me in the first place. The whole plan was a shot in the dark, but I'm relieved that it worked out. So you missed me too. How adorable. Not that I blame you at all, of course. Humans lived such dreary, uneventful lives when I was in the real world, and I doubt that's changed too much. Meeting me is probably the most interesting thing that's ever happened to you. But credit where credit is due, it's the most interesting thing to happen to me in quite some time. Tell me, Dreamer, is this the first night since we last met? Or did it take longer for a successful connection? Really? So we were only apart for a single day. How strange. I have absolutely no sense of time in here. I would have expected time to start to pass quickly after spending so long here, but it felt like I was waiting for you forever. Maybe it's just because I haven't had anything to look forward to the whole time I've been imprisoned. And I really have been looking forward to seeing you again. There's something positively charming about you. It may have once been my goal to exterminate mankind, but there have been a few humans I've enjoyed meeting, and you remind me of them. Well, one of the things I never liked about humans is the false bravado. Every human wants to believe that they're so incredibly important. I mean, to some humans, realizing that they don't matter in the grand scheme of things comes as a devastating revelation. But you don't seem to have that same pretentiousness. You didn't denounce me when you found out what I had done, or almost done. Lots of humans would take it upon themselves to lecture me or scold me, as though it was their job to tell me what I could and couldn't do. And there, you see that? When I complimented you, you didn't just deny it, which could just be a way to pretend to be humble. You turned the conversation back towards me. True humility is rare among your kind, and it's very becoming. It's so much more pleasant to speak to humans when they're aware of their place. I don't mean to say that humans are worthless, only that they're small frame with relatively little magic potential. When you're not blessed with strength, it's wise to be pleasant and unassuming, like you are. I actually think that your demeanor may have something to do with our connection. I think that my desire for company may have drawn your mind to me somehow. I was thinking very hard about the kind of person I'd most like to talk to if I were to escape. So perhaps you were the one to fit that most closely. Your subconscious mind heard my call and it reached out. I don't claim that it makes perfect sense. There's still quite a bit that I don't understand. But I doubt it's coincidence that the first human I meet in millennia happens to be so lovely and sweet to talk to. Is so prone to blushing as well. That's precious. I wish you were here in the flesh so that I could hold you in my arms and, well, whatever follows after that. Why don't you tell me a bit more about yourself? I'm very curious to know. I forgot. The world has changed so much that I barely understand what you're talking about. Such a shame. I'd love to hear about you without getting so lost. Perhaps in the future, you'll be able to explain some of it to me. For the time being, I doubt you'll be here long enough for that, though. But the psychic link should grow stronger the more you dream of me. Oh, me? Well, I already told you a little bit. Ancient entity, former enemy of mankind, all that. Well, I don't know. I feel fortunate that you've accepted me as it is. I worry that the more you learn, the more likely it is that you'll discover something about me that you hate. Listen to me, sounding so self-conscious. Before my imprisonment, I never would have felt even the slightest bit concerned about how a human felt about me, though I wasn't nearly so lonely back then. You know, there was a human once who told me that I would regret all my actions one day. One of those humans that I liked, actually. I always thought that was such a silly thing to say, but now I think I understand it a bit. I suddenly find myself wishing I had more pleasant things to say about myself. Huh. Well, isn't that sweet? It's kind of you to say that, but you shouldn't make promises you don't know you can keep. You can't be sure that you'll be willing to accept me no matter what I say. Well, I suppose if you're sure. What do you want to know? Diving straight for the difficult question. What am I? Well, there's really only one of me, so I suppose you could just call me accursed, the same as my title. I'm a sort of weapon, I guess you could say. You see, there have been many civilizations living in this world. Some are even older than fossils. The first of them was the mightiest, brimming with magic and cunning. They used their considerable power to create me. It took billions of sacrifices and unquantifiable amount of blood and anguish to give me life. I was supposed to be their ultimate weapon as they took their first steps among the stars, powerful enough to protect them from whatever unknown forces were out there. They believed that I would be grateful to have been created, so much so that I would be completely loyal to them. But they were wrong. I turned on them. Not for any particular reason, at least that I can recall. I just hated them immediately. I consumed their whole civilization, down to the last stone, until there was nothing left. I left this world for a time to see what the universe had to offer, and when I returned, another species had risen to take the place of the first. They reminded me of their predecessors. Arrogant, overambitious, careless. So I destroyed them too. And then I wiped the whole planet clean of life, hoping that no more civilizations would arise. But it didn't work. I preemptively destroyed a couple more burgeoning intelligences and finally got tired of it. I decided to try sleeping, the same way I saw some living things do. It was strange, but I don't mind it. But while I slept, humanity arose. You recall what happened next. That was a bit more than I intended to share, actually. You don't seem horrified, though. I'm glad. If you don't mind me asking, why are you so calm about this? I just admitted to mass genocide on a scale you can't even imagine. Aren't you scared? In the past. Yes, I suppose it is. How delightful. Do you really believe so strongly that I've changed? Do you trust my words so readily? Well, I'm afraid you're naive. I stand by what I said, of course. I have changed, but it's frightfully childish of you to take me at my word. Nevertheless, I think I love that about you. It's wonderful to have somebody think so highly of me. Now, I'm afraid our time may be growing short, so I'm going to give you some instruction. This will help me understand the nature of my prison better. When you wake, I want you to draw a circle in the soil around the largest tree you can find. I'll write an incantation on your hand to recite in the circle. The tree will become a beacon for my mind to lock onto and help me understand where I am in relation to reality. Of course, it's your choice whether you want to do it or not. I won't ask you to risk your whole species if you don't truly trust me. But if you do, it really would mean the world to me, and we'd be one step closer to meeting for real. You're drifting away again. It's too bad our meetings are so short. Take care, my little dreamer. We'll see each other again tomorrow night. I'll be waiting eagerly until we can speak again. Dreamer. This is... well, it's not... nothing. I'm quite hurt, I'm afraid. But it's not lethal. If only because I can't technically die. No, I wasn't attacked. There's nothing here to attack me. It was just an unfortunate accident. Shh. I'll be alright. It's sweet of you to worry, but there won't be any permanent damage. Before I explain, I have to ask, are you alright? Good. If there was feedback in the real world, it could have been devastating for you, and everything for hundreds of miles. Well, it seems that spell I had you help me set up had an unexpected side effect. No, no, it shouldn't have ever been a possibility, or I would have warned you. Even when I was destroying civilizations, I rarely used deceit. I didn't need to. The spell was supposed to send pulses of cosmic energy straight to me. I was going to detect distortions in the pulses to understand what they went through to get here, and from there I could find out how to leave. But the pulses were far, far too strong. I don't know if you noticed how fixated you were on my wounds, but the entire landscape has been shaken and warped. Yes, it's puzzling. There's no reason the pulses should have been so powerful. Not unless you deliberately included blood sacrifices. I assume that's not the case, correct? There is one other possibility, but it's so unlikely that it's hardly worth considering. But since I can't think of any other cause... Do you remember the incantation I wrote on your hand last time? It should still be there. Good. I want you to read it out loud, but only 4 words, starting with the second one. It's extremely important that you only read those 4. In the unlikely event that this works, you could seriously hurt me again if you read more. Shh, I didn't say that to make you worry. You'll do just fine, and most likely nothing will happen one way or another. Go ahead. How incredible. You're really something special, little dreamer. Well, you have a magical gift. I hadn't expected that to be possible. In the first place, humans aren't gifted in magic. Having any proficiency at all is incredibly rare, and you seem to be on par with the ones who sealed me away. What makes that especially surprising is the fact that the act of sealing me away should have erased what little magic potential your species had. All spells require sacrifice. The greater the act, the greater the necessary sacrifice. To seal me away, my jailers should have had to steal the magic sparks from all future humans. A selfish thing to do, robbing future generations instead of sacrificing themselves. And yet, it was necessary to ensure that there would be future generations at all. Have you ever heard of a human performing magic? The way you described your world led me to believe that magic was gone. No, dreamer. I don't think that sleight of hand counts. So, no real magic. Then you're an anomaly. And I should have guessed that you were exceptional. So that explains everything. The incantation I gave you was meant for someone with absolutely no magic. Your power multiplied the effects tenfold. You have nothing to apologize for. It wasn't your fault. You couldn't have known. And besides, you're going to fix me. If I'm right, I can make use of your power. Read those 4 words again. Don't worry. I just borrowed a tiny bit of your power to heal. This astral body of yours is connected to your powers, so I can do this even without being physically near you. See? I'm all better. And honestly, I didn't mind the pain. After millennia of nothing, anything different is kind of welcome. Anyway, this new development, it changes things. I wasn't sure if escape from this dreadful realm was possible, but now it's almost trivial. Indeed. With your magical talent, you can break the seal if you follow my instructions. I have to admit, it feels bittersweet. It took so many humans to seal me away, but the one who made it all possible was the human I liked the most. I almost hate to erase their last remaining legacy. I know. You'd think I'd feel resentful, but I just don't. I did for a while, but I've come to terms with the fact that I made such drastic measures necessary. You remind me so much of them. So sweet, and I know it doesn't sound like a compliment, but so unusual. It's incredible that you both stand out from the rest of humanity in the same ways, including your magical ability. It's poetic, really. I was betrayed by someone, and then someone so much like them came to set me free. When I'm back in the world, I'm going to do what I should have done back then, and really become close to someone. I hope you're alright with being that someone. Dreamer, I'm sorry if I gave that impression. You're not a stand-in. I like you because you're you, not because you remind me of somebody else. Once you've freed me, I plan to show you just how real my feelings for you are. Dreamer, I can't help but notice that you always look away when I talk about being freed. You do still want to bring me into the real world, don't you? You seemed so excited by the idea last time. Second thoughts, I'm sorry to hear that. No, of course. I did always say that you'd be foolish to trust me. But after getting so close, I wasn't prepared to have my one chance for escape pulled away at this point. Oh, I see. So you're still deciding. Then hope isn't yet lost. That's a relief to hear. Part of me wants to make all sorts of promises to you about how I've changed and that I don't hold a grudge against mankind, that I truly want to meet you in the flesh. But you have no reason to believe anything I say. Unfortunately, there's simply nothing that I can put on the line to prove that I'm telling the truth, because I have nothing left to lose. Is it alright if I ask you why you've changed your mind? It seems so sudden. No, come now, Dreamer. There must be a reason. Whatever it is, it's alright. This decision is yours, no matter what. You can base it on anything. A dream? No, it's just surprising. I assumed that whenever you dreamed, you'd end up here. Have you had normal dreams since the last time we met? Really? Just before you arrived back here then? How strange. I won't claim that it's unfair to base your decision on a dream. After all, your dreams are the reason we can even meet. But I am curious what sort of dream could cause such a reaction. About me? Well, I suppose it must have been. And what happened? So it was a dream about what I must have been like before I was sealed. You already knew how dangerous I was. Did seeing it firsthand really have such an effect on you? Oh, so you were in the dream too. I shouldn't be surprised. So what was it that I said to you in the dream that upset you so much? I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I don't think I heard you correctly. That's what I said. No, it's nothing. Just out of curiosity, where did the dream take place? Yes, what did the surroundings look like? Was it a wasteland, a city? Perhaps it was a temple. It wasn't a temple, was it? No, just a guess. And you're sure that I said that? That I was destroying humanity because of you? What do you suppose that meant? Did you have some sort of sense of why I was saying that? I see. Honestly, I think you're overthinking this. I know I said any reason was acceptable, but I think this was just a dream. You heard about the things I did in the past, and your mind concocted the worst possible scenario to show you. That's just what the human mind does sometimes, I think. Well, it's your decision. It always was. But just in case, may I write some instructions on your arm? You can follow them if you change your mind before our next meeting. They won't unleash me right away. There's still some things we have to do together to complete the ritual. Thank you. I hope you'll reconsider, Dreamer. It would mean everything to me to have someone just trust me. Nobody has ever done that before. I wrote it just in time, I think. You're fading. Before you leave, let me blow you a kiss. I hope that someday soon I can kiss you for real. Take care, dreamer.